Welcome to the basic advisory services module. And what I'll go through in this video is the one basic advisory service that we currently offer in November of 2024 and why. And I'll kind of walk you through, how I arrived at this, where we're going to go in the future, and then what I used to do that didn't work in the very beginning, right? Because that's very valuable for you guys to know. And so the one super duper basic advisory service, cheap advisory service to our clients that we offer right now is just reviewing and interpreting their financial reports to them on a monthly basis or an as needed basis or annual basis, whatever they want. We prefer them to get on a monthly rhythm, especially for billing, and that's easier, and it's also just more valuable for them if they are on a monthly schedule. But if not, we do it on an as needed basis. And we actually do a review and interpret. So if a client goes through a cleanup process with us, we do this review and interpretation service to them, for their cleanup period as complimentary, kind of to introduce them to this service, ensure they understand, their financials for that period, and they know what things mean, and they're not just looking at this financial statements package that we've given them and just blankly staring at it and not necessarily knowing, what things are, right? And so, and I think it's important to do that, whether you charge for it or not. I think it's important to do that whenever you first onboard and clean up a client's books, just because, and our COO actually brought this to my attention because, this is most likely the first time that this client has ever been presented financials for their business in a professional way. And so it's important that we make them feel comfortable with that. And we just explain to them what things mean. And we don't do any in-depth analysis within this service or anything. It's very basic, very surface level, but we just review their financials, kind of explain things to them, explain what things mean and what they are, and do very light analysis, just like some ratios that are significant, and try to point out kind of their owner's benefit from the business, whatever you want to call it. And we point out some other things that I'll get to kind of in the following videos within this module, going through the process of how to do this and how you can offer it to your clients. But this is the only one that we offer right now. Super basic, super low level, cheap advisory service that you can offer all your clients. They don't have to meet any gross revenue metrics or anything like that to take advantage of this service. And, we charge right now, November 2024, I think we charge somewhere between 150 and 250 bucks a month for this service. And, you can charge more than that. You can charge less than that, whatever you're comfortable with. And then if they want additional things that kind of we route out through this service, then that's going to be additional, right? And so why we only offer this one service. So I'll take you back to the very beginning of Time Capital Bookkeeping. I was everything in the business, right? It was just me, like some of you. And I was offering bookkeeping. Obviously, it's a bookkeeping business first and foremost. But I was also offering 8 different advisory services, stuff that I had just kind of trained myself up on. And some clients were taking advantage of that stuff. I wasn't charging nearly enough, and I didn't have any sort of criteria that the clients needed to meet to be able to take advantage of those services to ensure it is providing them with enough value to be worth it for them, right? So I just didn't have any of that knowledge, and I honestly didn't have the capacity to kind of do those things to the fullest extent. And so what ended up happening, which is usually what happens when when your focus is really split within your business, especially in the beginning, and you don't have a team around you, all the services I was offering just kind of got diluted because I was offering way too much. And so I was kind of doing everything at a mediocre, level, and I was overwhelmed because of that, right? And so I was kind of, at least I feel like at that time, I was probably underserving our clients. And I just had too much on my plate, and my focus was too split, right? And so when I hired a team, almost immediately, cut all the advisory services that we were offering, except for this very basic one that, I could easily train other people to do. And there's, they can almost do it in a scripted fashion. They still have to use some critical thinking, and they have to be able to kind of root out what's valuable to each individual client, which is, which takes time, takes practice, takes skill. You have to build those skills, but as far as like what ratios they should be pointing out and like specific things on each, balance sheet, income statement of cash flows they should be speaking to, like that stuff can be scripted, right, for this service. So yeah, chose to continue offering this one, cut all the other ones, and we really just focused on getting really, really good at bookkeeping, this bookkeeping services that we provide for the past few years. And we really, now in November 2024, coming up on our 3-year mark in January, we're really now just to a point with our bookkeeping services. I truly believe they are some of the top services within the industry, as far as companies that provide the services that we provide. I think we're one of the top in the industry, as far as how efficient and how just how good we are at providing those services based on feedback from our clients and our clients referring us to their network and that sort of thing. So that's kind of the litmus test: is are your clients, do your clients feel compelled to refer your services to other people in their network, to put their reputation on the line and say, this company or this person or what have you is really good at what they do, and you should go talk to them. So once you're to that point, and once your processes are dialed in, you have your team, your people are dialed in, only at that point would I look at offering other services. And, you don't have to necessarily go the advisory route like we are about to, but, you could offer billing, invoicing, 1099 services. You could go more so the tax route. From what I have seen, the advisory services will provide us the maximum amount of leverage kind of in this next phase of the business. And I already have a couple of courses identified to put one of our team members through, and she's currently going through kind of the first phase of that. And so we're going in the advisory direction in addition to the bookkeeping services that we offer. But the main point being, as far as the why we only offer this one basic service right now, is because I wanted to ensure that our bookkeeping services were top notch, and they are now. And I wanted to ensure, the business wasn't a headache before we introduced something new, and it's not. We have great processes and people in place, and we're constantly improving as well with our current team and processes. And so now I think conditions are set to tackle this next thing. And so we'll still be focused on the bookkeeping, and then we'll have a team member who is starting to, put a little more focus towards the advisory stuff and getting trained up and all that, right? And that's another key point here. I will continue just offering kind of as needed advisory services, but I will not offer what we're going to offer in an official capacity with like our advisory programs on a recurring basis. One of our team members will offer that. And then, as we grow, we'll train more people to offer those. And so I'll go through in this module the very basic service that we provide right now. And I'm not going to go through, I'll mention some of the other services that we're considering offering, but none of them are final yet. And so I'm not going to go through those in detail. And even once we finalize those, I probably won't insert them into this course, because this is a very, basic course. And so I would need to create a more advanced kind of, solely advisory course if I was going to go through all of that stuff in detail. How to offer it, how to price it, how to identify it, how to qualify clients. Like, it would be an entire course in and of itself. So we'll go through this basic stuff. Everything in this module you should be able to immediately offer your clients at a super basic level, minimal training. And so that's kind of the point of all this stuff. And so to caveat this, what we've, already gone through, still now, sometimes I just offer as needed consultations with our clients. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. It just kind of depends. And I also offer kind of as needed, advisory consultations with non-clients. And I do this at my hourly rate, my current hourly rate. And, those calls sometimes include advice on raising capital, figuring out when to refinance a rental property, whether to convert, a long-term rental to a short-term rental or a mid-term rental, or just some sort of other business model to fix a cash flow issue, risk of that, benefits, how to fix or some ways to fix a contractor issue or like a team issue. Whether they should hire a specific team member for a position or not, based on their numbers, and if not, how to get there right, tracking different key performance indicators, like some we may want to track and may not want to track, like what are based on the goals of the business, what are the kind of highest leverage key performance indicators that we could track. And so we'll actually go through a video of some key performance indicators that you may want to track for your real estate investing clients. And just general clients, rooting out constraints and eliminating them, just general, what's constraining this business's growth right now. Okay, cool. How do we, what are some ways that we can deal with that? And so, you can offer any one of the things that I just mentioned, as its own service, and kind of make it official and give it a name and have a program around it and all that stuff. Right. But these are just some kind of, like, I do this in one-off capacities right now, when clients need it and when non-clients need it. And so, if you have this type of knowledge already, but you don't want to offer recurring services around this because it's going to take a lot of your time, to be honest, then, you could just offer them at your hourly rate on an as needed basis, and kind of work up towards, training a team member to do this type of stuff. And then eventually they take over that side of your business. So that's what I'm doing right now as of November 2024. That's a big thing that we have for 2025 is I want to have official, by the end of 2025, honestly, by probably mid 2025, I want to have some official, fractional CFO advisory programs in place, and have them packaged and have a team member trained to actually execute them with our clients, and be doing some trial runs with our clients, maybe for free, and then just to get some feedback, get some testimonials, and then offer them in a paid capacity. So all this stuff takes time. If you're gonna offer things that are truly valuable, nobody wants to hear this, but it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes time. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, headaches, constraints that need to be eliminated. But in the end, it'll be worth it, and you'll have a business that is truly valuable, that doesn't 100% rely on you to continue running, which I think is all of our goal, right? All of our goals. And it, from what I've seen, it's just worth it in the end. Okay. And so I guess this was kind of an basic advisory kind of introduction to this module and what Time Capital Bookkeeping has going on in this capacity as of November 2024. And then the basic, service that we provide right now, and why. So thanks for hanging in there, for listening this long. And I hope you enjoy this module.